busting every fitness myth in 24 hours. I wanted to check this one out because I'm keen to see what the fitness myths are at least. And his videos are generally pretty good, so why not? All right, let's watch busting every fitness myth in 24 hours.
Other fitness myths are about to be busted by me and YouTube's smartest bodybuilder, Jeff Nippard. Start us off, Jeff.
Number one, men's testosterone is higher in the morning.
I think it's safe to say us guys, we know the truth. It's true. We'll be breaking these up into 8 categories, each targeting a different element of fitness,
Was Jeff in the room with him at that point?
with Jeff's secret myth at the end. Beginning with category 1, morning routine.
Fitness myth number 2, low
Just
body
tuned
fat
in. Welcome,
equals
Nathan.
healthy.
I think the best way to test this is we find out my body fat, 190. Damn, the bulk is working. I got my body fat,
I'm gonna guess it says like 21.
21.2. Jeff Nippard, 171.8 pounds. The body fat is so high that you couldn't even measure it. This thing sucks.
I'm gonna tell you right now, these things have a massive margin of error. Like it could be up or down 5 to 10% either way. I really wouldn't trust it.
So do we think that having a lower body fat means that you're healthy?
If you have a very high body fat percentage, that can come with negative health effects. If you have a really low body fat percentage, that can come with negative health effects too, because you can be at a very low body fat and be actually quite unhealthy, especially if you consider mental health. Fitness myth number 3.
Does anyone believe that if you're at low body fat, you're healthy? I think if you're at a moderate body fat, you're healthy.
On the scale isn't going down, you're not losing weight.
So if this isn't going down, I'm not losing weight.
So that's technically true because that measures your weight, right? Yeah. But does it mean you're not losing fat? Not necessarily.
You could be losing muscle, you could be gaining muscle, you could be losing fat or gaining fat. Your body can be recomping.
Or, this is more common in women, you could be retaining water while losing fat. You'll see a plateau and then you'll see a sudden swoosh. The body weight will go
Jeff's sexist, that's
down.
all it
And you'll
is.
see a plateau and you'll see a sudden swoosh. So I'm gonna call it a myth. It's not just about the number on the scale. Fasted cardio burns more calories.
I'm gonna go for 5 minutes and see how many calories I burn, and we're gonna see if it's more than usual.
Just gonna feel it.
Yep. I mean, think about it. Like, a lot of bodybuilders do fasted cardio.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have hope for it and saying that it works and it burns more calories. But in reality, if your body is moving a certain amount, I feel like you kind of just burn the same amount of calories.
Okay, are you ready for this? Fasted cardio does burn more fat, but it doesn't matter because if you burn more fat during the cardio session, your body will compensate by burning less fat throughout the rest of the day. So it doesn't matter.
Wow.
So the myth is still busted. And there are long-term studies that compare groups doing fasted cardio versus groups doing fed.
What do you guys think? Does fasted cardio work better? I personally think it's great. These studies are awesome, but there's one big error with this study, okay? N equals 10. N equals 10. There was a total of 20 people in this study. And he says this is a long-term study. How long do you think was long-term? How long do you think was long-term? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? It ain't so good. It ain't so good. I'll say that much. Look, here's the thing. When you involve PEDs, things change. I do believe that wholeheartedly. I don't also believe that your body adapts by losing less fat periodically throughout the day, especially if you're changing the signaling mechanisms and you are moving throughout the day. Maybe if you're doing that cardio and like these individuals are doing, they weren't monitored for the rest of the day. So maybe you were doing that cardio and then, I don't know, you didn't move for the rest of the day. You just sat on your ass all day. Well, yeah, there's probably a likelihood that you would redistribute the fat loss throughout the day because you at one point in the day you were moving more and one point in the day you were moving far less. So consequentially, yeah. Depends on how much clen. Yeah, exactly. Clenbuterol will change that.
Fed cardio, and over a long time frame, it doesn't make a difference in fat loss.
So all you bodybuilders out there that are doing your fasted cardio and your coach says you got to do it fasted, it makes no difference. But does that also apply to category 2, nutrition and biohacking?
All calories are equal. Myth or true?
Part of me wants to say it's true, but I also know like it's not. In terms of carb v carb, carb has sugar, carb also has sugar. I think it's generally gonna do the same damage, but there's nutrients in this, food dye in this. So they're not equal in terms of health, but in terms of calories, they are equal. Like this is 110 calories of Sour Patch, 110 calorie apple. It is equal. I think I might need to phone a friend.
Jeff, you there? Your instinct was completely right. I think what was tripping you up is you're thinking about the energy measurement. And in that sense, it is true. Calories are equal. All that calorie is a unit of measurement, the same as pounds is a unit of mass. When it comes to weight loss, they would actually be the same. Your body responds to calories in versus calories out. If you eat in a caloric deficit, you will lose weight. But the problem is, you're so much more likely to overeat on this. Practical good takeaway from this is if you eat a little junk food, as long as it fits within your
Are there studies on clen and BMR increase? Yes, there is.
caloric targets for the
Just type in there's a good deal of studies. I would really recommend using several different databases, but honestly, I don't think anything tops DeepSeek right now. And I know we talked shit about it last live and how like it's the Chinese AI, but it is surprisingly good for assisting in research, actually.
for the day, it's okay. I'm okay with going half myth on this one. I think your intuition was right on that one.
This next myth I'm going to regret.
Eating raw eggs increases muscle.
Oh, then I need it.
Who thinks that is true? I don't think that's true. I've never heard that become a myth at all.
Bro.
Increases muscle.
You want some?
No, thank you.
Come on. Jeff. No! I feel like there's got to be something more anabolic about it.
Why else would people do it, right?
I'm a wishful thinker right now.
It's actually less anabolic than if you cook them. In the raw form, the egg protein is really wound up. When you cook it, it denatures the protein and allows it to unwind, and you can absorb it about 30% better.
Dude, the movies are full of it, man. This whole time Rocky's been doing it. It's a lie. Now let's move on to supplements.
Greens can replace real veggies.
He uses DeepSeek before the tariffs hit, yeah.
I think I'd have to be, no offense,
Take advantage
an
of it
idiot
now.
to say that this replaces this.
You can't replace real
Yeah, this is an absolute myth. We talked about this before on this channel, about AG1 specifically.
vegetables, and that's
It's actually something I cover in the course that I just talked about.
because it has fiber, it has phytonutrients that are good for you, it's more bioavailable, usually, and it has a satiating effect. Like, you're gonna feel nice and full after you eat that. No, I'm good. You could use this as a sort of like insurance policy. If things go wrong and you don't get your veggies in for the day, this will kind of cover you a little bit. Myth.
No.
Dry scooping pre-workout is bad.
Okay, when I was like 18, this is all I did. So let me just test it out. I'm gonna show
Yes, because they have osmotic molecules, right? And these molecules are driven by hydration and water.
you. People hate on it, but you know how much fun it is to dry scoop?
Some hate is justified.
You want one?
I'm not gonna dry scoop it, bro. That would be such a hypocrite.
Time to get cracked down! That's the most bro thing you can ever do.
I think it's bad.
Wait, why is it bad?
You could choke if it goes down the wrong tube. And if you get
Jeff talking about choking is wild.
powder in your lungs, that could actually be really bad. Yeah, so it's not safe.
Is it less useful of your pre-workout to do this?
From a
Yes.
pump standpoint, probably. You'll still get the caffeine though, not busted. BCAAs offer unique benefits over protein powder.
False. BCAAs are garbage. Everyone knows this. Don't buy them. They're a fucking scam. If you spend money on BCAAs, you deserve to be robbed of your money. There's so much data supporting that they're likely not effective at all, especially when compared to essential amino acids, which pretty much are clearly effective in some situations.
Powder.
Protein equals good. Protein good. BCAAs, on the other hand, I've heard like, you know, both sides of it. Well, let's just see.
Oh, I thought you were gonna dry scoop it.
No,
Did I convince you?
You convinced me. I'm no longer dry scooping. Okay, so these are BCAAs. They're branched chain amino acids.
How many are there? Class is in session. Hey, I asked you this on my own channel.
3.
You're right, you learned.
Let's go! I got an A. Personally, I think BCAAs are BS.
And that's because, like you just said,
What's up, Justin?
there's only 3 amino acids in this. To build muscle, you need all 9 essential amino acids. All 9 are gonna be in a complete protein.
Overall, BCAAs offer a unique benefit over protein powder.
Busted.
Busted.
Fitness myth number 10, more caffeine equals better workout.
False.
We all love
Caffeine is vasoconstrictive above a certain dose of usually 300 milligrams of caffeine. Generally, a really bad idea to go over that, both for cardiovascular health, not just in terms of like your health, but in terms of your actual heart function, especially if you're using PEDs. A general bad idea to be mixing copious amounts of caffeine with PEDs.
All love caffeine. I've got an energy tattoo on my arm. Pledge Master, Alpha Beta Chad, let's do this. Oh! Good!
So it's a myth.
Wait, what? I just had another excess of caffeine for no reason.
Yeah.
Jeff, you gotta start telling me these things before I do them. So more caffeine may not cause better workouts. But what about ice baths?
He literally didn't get any of that. I hope that was point. EAAs are useful, yes.
Ice baths help
I am currently in the country of Florida.
you recover faster and
I'm
build
kidding. The United States.
more muscle. Is it cold?
Yes.
You're from Canada, bro. This is nothing to you. Oh, I hate this, but it's like good for you.
Do you have a scientific citation for the claim?
I have been taking ice baths for a while. It helps my mental state. It gives me a lot of dopamine. I'm gonna say that ice baths are great for you.
I will say this, I think it's impressive. Listen, I've never done one, so I can't speak from experience about how it feels.
You wanna get in? Come on, get in here, Jeff.
Oh, that's really cold, bro. You're an animal for this.
Is it better before or after your workout?
I personally don't think it's necessary at either time. If you find that it helps you with like mental clarity, performance, knock yourself out.
So it's a myth.
If you look at the studies, there does seem to be a significant negative effect to prolonged cold exposure.
Hurry up, Jeff, I'm freezing!
It's true that they probably have a slight positive benefit for recovery and reducing soreness. It's a myth that they're good for muscle growth.
Okay, the dopamine just hit. Which will hopefully
Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks they're good for muscle growth. I think that's well established.
help
But
me in
of
our
course, like this is more for general population, I guess. So, which is something we could add to the course.
category.
I'm learning.
Protein roulette. We've got a few myths about
Yeah, hypertrophy is an inflammatory process. Doing something inherently anti-inflammatory is not so great.
all about protein. You must eat protein within 30 minutes of finishing your workout.
Myth. What's the actual anabolic window?
3 hours?
Bigger.
5 hours.
That's right. You want your pre-workout meal and your post-workout meal to not be separated by more than 5 hours.
Protein powder causes kidney damage.
Myth.
That has to be a myth. Why would they be able to sell it?
If you have kidney disease, you do need to monitor your protein intake.
Yeah, unfortunately, I moved back recently from Eastern Asia. Well, I moved to Canada, was there for several months, moved to the United States, bought some more property.
Yeah, but it doesn't cause it.
The body can only absorb so much protein in 1 hour.
It is true because of the 1 hour part. So your body has a limit to how much nutrients it can take up. Eventually, it'll all be absorbed. Is creatine a steroid?
According to my mom, when I was 15, she thought that creatine was steroid. She's like, Jess, you shouldn't be taking this. It's gonna do bad things to your body.
She was just looking out for you. She just wanted you to keep your natty card.
That has to be a myth.
It is a myth. So creatine is not a steroid. So creatine is already in any meat you eat. Creatine is
Man, these are elite level newbie suggestions.
better thought of as a nutrient, almost more like protein.
I am like so uninvested in the things that are being spoken about.
Steroids
I think most of the audience here could clearly differentiate what's false and not.
are drugs.
All this talk about protein and steroids is making me hungry. And we still have lots of myths to bust, including Jeff's myth that he keeps mentioning. So before we make our way to the gym, I wanted a quick bite. Nothing crazy, just
2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, 2 medium fries, Diet Coke, regular Coke, grilled chicken sandwich, buffalo sauce, another grilled chicken sandwich. You want anything? Thank you, brother. I love the videos, bro. Thank you. Wait. Are you subscribed? Yeah, I am. Can you show me? Bro is subscribed. I'm gonna Venmo you $100 right now. $100 for being a subscriber. What's your name, bro?
My name's Jay.
You got the 100?
Appreciate it, brother. Subscribe to Jesse, bro.
Bro, to 10 mil.
10 mil, I know.
10 mil, let's go.
Have a good day, bro.
Thank you, bro. Get fat.
If I ever meet any one of you in public, I'll Venmo you $100 for sure. Just eat, work out more. No BCAAs, BS. The secret I've learned this so simple yet people don't do it is much is sleep. Yeah, sleep is true. I think generally just training hard, eating good food, and sleeping is going to be the key to growth most of the time. I don't think you need to get so caught up in what works and what doesn't with supplements or even taking supplements. I just suggest training like a fucking animal, and that's probably going to get you 99% of your results, along with an appropriate amount of protein and a good sufficient diet that's hitting all your micronutrients.
You can have a little bit of indulgence in your life. It doesn't have to be perfect, because I'm not gonna lie, I get Chick-fil-A at least once or twice a week.
And ultimately, fat loss comes down to a
Calorie deficit.
it's not the most healthy thing, but in moderation, I think it's totally fine.
Diet soda is worse than regular soda.
There's so much evidence on artificial sweeteners being incredibly safe, and it's really not something to worry about. And in fact, if you replace regular soda with diet soda, it's been shown to directly cause weight loss quite easily. It's a myth. It's a myth.
When it comes to dieting, you are good if you eat healthy food.
Speaking of Asia, was the quality of chicken, eggs, and produce noticeably? Oh, yes. It was, food there was delicious, by all means. Every type of food. Chicken, beef especially was so good. But the eggs were always like that really almost bright red hue. The dairy especially was delicious. That was unbelievable. And the fruits, oh my God, the fruits. You guys, I've never had a more delicious apple in my entire life than the ones I would get from just a fucking 7-Eleven there. The fruits are unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Food, and you are bad if you eat unhealthy.
I mean, I think that's a myth. Like, I think it's a personal decision. What do you think?
I think that we shouldn't look at food as good or bad. I think we should look at it as healthy and unhealthy. At the end of the day, like we said, in moderation, you can eat these things. You're not bad if you eat a little bit of Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Myth! Sugar should be avoided at all costs. This soda probably has like 50 grams of sugar in it. This is a real Coke. Is this something that we should be avoiding?
Sugar tends to be packaged with a lot of highly processed foods. Those are just really easy to overeat on. What you really want to avoid, I think, are the highly processed, really, really palatable junk foods that are low in nutrients, low in vitamins, low in minerals.
So half myth.
Half myth.
And while eating out occasionally is totally fine, you definitely want to make sure you know exactly what you're eating. However, a myth that many people believe is
Tracking your calories and macros is very time consuming and annoying.
Actually not anymore, because MacroFactor is the fastest food tracking app on the entire
Oh my God.
You can track faster in MacroFactor than in any other diet app.
blog. Kind of analytics, all visual. See to try out MacroFactor.
Category 5, warm-ups and cardio.
There's an optimal time to work out.
I'm gonna call major BS on that.
Yeah, there's no one best
I would say that your actually best time to work out is what you prefer. Most people, it's going to be right away in the morning.
time to train. I think the best time to train is when you can do it, when it fits your schedule.
Oh, dude, 91 days away from moving there. That's so awesome. Yeah, if you need any advice, let me know. It's a great place, dude. There's nothing will go wrong. It's probably one of the best experiences of my entire life and will always be forevermore.
And when you feel that you can perform the best.
Okay, so it's a myth.
It's a myth. You need to
I am literally like cuffing myself to a table, and my Korean girlfriend won't let me go back, and that's why I haven't gone back.
stretch before you work out.
I was an athlete my whole life. I don't think it should be static, sitting still.
You nailed it. I think doing some dynamic stretching, so like leg swings side to side, you can do arm circles along with maybe some light cardio is generally enough. So I wouldn't static stretch before weights. If you're gonna static stretch, I would do it after weights.
Cardio should be done
That's true.
before weightlifting.
I think it should be done after weightlifting. If it's
Oh my God, start work at 4 a.m. Well, yeah, in your case, it's fucked.
just a 5 to 10 minute warm up to get the blood flowing is good. But if you're doing cardio for like fat loss or endurance or whatever, I think you'd be better off doing it after. It'll reduce your strength performance. Like think about the energy you're using toward your cardio. There's less energy to go toward max strength performance essentially.
So is that a myth?
You should do cardio before your workout, that's a myth.
Okay. What's the next myth?
Doing more cardio means you'll lose more weight.
When I do more cardio, I lose more weight.
And why do you think that is?
Because I'm burning more calories.
That's it. So what does weight loss come from? It comes from a caloric deficit. People think cardio burns way more calories than it actually does. So if you go for a brisk walk for a half an hour, you might only burn like 150 to 200 calories. You could eat that back in a second with 2 Oreos.
2 Oreos, you're done. Yes, yes.
Diet is a more important tool than cardio, but cardio still has a lot of benefits, and I think you should include it.
So this one is a truth then.
If you don't
Jeff really annoys me, man. I'm not gonna lie. The thing is, the majority of people already know this information, yet we get bombarded with these types of videos. It's like so generic slop. It's like, I don't even find this entertaining. I'm exhausted. And I just don't understand the purpose of the video. It's like recapitulating everything everyone already knew. And I'm so jealous because, yes, he gets 846,000 views per video. That's garbage. And it's like, the most basic video I've ever seen in my life. It's great, but just very
Compensate
generic.
too much by eating more. But since cardio can help you establish a caloric deficit, I would say it is true. All else equal, cardio will help you lose weight, yes.
Now it's time for the fun stuff, volume and intensity.
Machines are less effective than free weights.
I'm gonna do a set with a machine and then a set with free weights.
And then we'll know.
We'll find out the truth.
Good control, Jesse.
I had good form because of our last video.
Finish it. Control. Pause. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I want you to rate your muscular prowess.
10 is the best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.25. It was really good. Let's go try another one. Oh, so far, just picking up these free weights makes it feel more difficult. So let's see how this set goes.
Good control. You got more. You got more, Jesse. And I want you to go for another one. Failure means failure. Good, good, good.
Holy crap. I'm gonna give that one a 9. Is there a difference?
So there's actually been studied quite a lot. As long as you're pushing your sets really, really hard, you can see very similar hypertrophy with machines and free
It's indifferent.
weights.
It's a myth.
For Christ's
6
sakes,
to
it's
12
indifferent.
reps means you'll gain more muscle.
The classic answer of hypertrophy is king.
It's safe content that gets regurgitated so much, unfortunately. And here's the dilemma that I'm having as a YouTuber, you guys, is that I don't want to make this type of content because I am genuinely like, the amount of times that I have said this information, heard it be said, or have it been told to me, it just makes me like want to vomit hearing it again, dude. I've been hearing this stuff for the past 5 years of my life. Like, can we move on to something more interesting and nuanced? Probably not. Because here's the reality. There's new people to fitness every year that haven't heard this stuff before. It just sucks to have to hear it again and again. And as a coach, to have to say it again and again and again and again, because you start feeling like you're just getting paid to perform a circus act, like you're getting paid to just say the same shit over and over again to people, and there's nothing ever new or interesting. And people are like, well, you know so much, Coach Kolton, like all this stuff about pharmacology. And it's like, yeah, I do, but do you know how much of that is actually applicable to most people? Probably like 2% of it. Like, the reality is most people just need this basic shit, and it sucks. And I could talk all day about some really cool stuff, but my videos would get 1,000 views, and I wouldn't be able to net any benefit from that. Maybe get some clients, but that's not the goal for myself. Like, I want to be much bigger than just some random coach. So it really sucks because you do have to kind of appease the general populace, and it's not it's not a good time. I don't think it's fun talking about this. It's just like duh type of content to me, and I might sound rude, but I think most people in fitness know all of this information because it's just been repeated over and over and over again. But Kolton, you're a trainer. It's your job to repeat it over and over again, like a teacher who teaches the same subject for years, and I respect that. But and I'm not saying I have a massive problem with it. I'm just saying the last thing I want to do is make generic slop content about it, and it's just not something that I'm super passionate about. And it sucks because it might be a really easy way to get to that level of reputation on the line and get to places where maybe I wouldn't have been able to go. But I can't get myself to make this kind of content. Like, it's just so yuck, it's just so generic, I guess. Just start hearing the same shit rehash, but like you said, new people are always coming in, so more creators will target that. Yeah. I don't know. Steve seems to do okay. Steve does okay, but he tells me a lot of the time how much he hates saying the same things over and over and over again. I don't think you realize most of his videos are just repeating himself. A lot of the stuff he talks about was talked about 6 years ago when I was in his Facebook group, It's generic, sure, but I'm guessing it's because the audience, there are a lot of people in real life that need to be shown this, but at the same time, you can only cover the basics so many times. Yeah, you can only cover the basics. Kolton, you're right to test the waters and see where you want to land. You've got to get the vibe. Yeah.
And hypertrophy is gonna happen.
It just sucks, man. I don't want to do that.
Somewhere around 8 reps.
It is what it
well.
is.
I know you believe this.
I do.
I'm gonna burst your bubble right now.
No.
I just want you to guess how wide studies have found the hypertrophy rep range actually is.
Let's say 4 to 50.
It's actually 3 to 50. So if you go below 3 reps, it's really, really hard to train with enough volume. If you go above 50 reps, your cardio.
Okay, so that's different from what I say. I say 5 to 30. But I think generally speaking, no one's doing 50 reps for a fucking set. No one's doing 30 reps for a fucking set unless it's like a drop set or a like myo rep set, something like that. But I don't say that typically. I say 5 to 30 reps.
Cardiovascular system becomes the limiting factor, and it's really hard to take the muscle to true failure. But anywhere between 3 and 50 reps, you can build roughly equal muscle mass. Busted, busted. I really want your opinion on this one. This is gonna reveal if you're more bro or more scientist.
Oh man.
Training to failure builds more muscle.
Ooh. I'm gonna take a set to failure and go way beyond failure right now. And I think that's gonna cue something in my brain for an answer, okay? Come on!
Not failure. This is the Dorian Yates pullover. I want real failure.
That's gotta build more muscle. So is it a myth or not?
It's a myth.
Train to failure
I think I'm curious to see how he defines this.
does not build more muscle?
The best research shows that as long as you're 1 to 2 reps shy of failure, you see equivalent hypertrophy as if you go all the way to failure. Training each muscle once a week is worth.
He really could have extrapolated on that more. I think training to concentric failure is definitely enhancing muscle gain, but training anywhere past concentric failure really doesn't provide any substantial benefit. But when you say that you don't need to train to failure, what you're telling most people is they don't need to train hard, and they don't perceive you saying that, well, you don't have to train to failure. They perceive that, well, I can stop early, or I can stop when it starts to hurt. And then at the end of the day, they don't ever train hard. They don't even get close to 3 reps close to failure, because if you've ever trained hard, 3 reps close to failure is actually fucking nuts. Like, that's really hard. If we're talking true failure, like I'm going to drop the bar on myself, 3 reps shy of that is insane amounts of effort. But if you just say that, people don't understand what you're talking about because they never even understood the first place what that failure meant. And that's where it's, super problematic when you make general statements like that. Like, I just tell people concentric failure is what's needed, because that means you can't basically get the bar up anymore. The bar's not dropping down on you. You're not dying. You're not falling over, but you can't get the bar up anymore. Kolton, your time will come. Would you rather have 20K subscribers who really like you and respect you, or 100K? Yeah, it's a fair point. It's just that, look, in the grand scheme of things, Justin, I want to make a business model that is something I can retire with, but also do something I love, right? So the problem is that 20K subscribers could theoretically get me there, but I also don't want to coach people one-on-one until I'm 65 years old. So I have to look at this from a way of, how can I generate an audience that's so large where if I put a business into play, and let's say I start selling a product, or I start selling a do it for yourself type service, right? Where I sell like a course, for example, and then I sell it to, 200,000 people. And then out of those 200,000, 5,000 people spend $30 a month on whatever I'm selling. I'm making $1.8 million a year doing that. That kind of money I can retire with. When you have an audience of 20,000 people, they might have a good will for you, but oftentimes a small audience who is really developed in a niche isn't going to spend as much money as Jesse James West's audience, right? And so you run into this conundrum, and I'm talking about economics, right? I understand this is like behind the scenes of an influencer, and it's so wrong to talk about selling things to your audience, but it is how you make money as an influencer. It is how I make money as a person, as I offer my coaching to the people who follow me for my content, and they pay for the coaching. And it's how I live, right? It's how I'm able to do these live streams. It's how I'm able to make YouTube videos. It's how I'm able to do all this stuff. And hopefully that enriches your life to some capacity. But at the end of the day, if I want to do something that is so fruitful and enriches my life, it needs to be to a larger group, basically. And so it's really important to build the subscribers. So 20,000 subscribers would be great. And it is great. And I have truly enjoyed the process. But what people don't see is like the cost of doing that too as well. Hot take, Mike Israetel doesn't know how to train. Yeah, he doesn't know how to train at all. We've established this, Joshua.
Worse than training each muscle twice a week.
Based on my guess of where science is, 2 times a week it has to be better.
It does seem to be slightly better, but I think that's more important for people who are a little more advanced. I think for beginners, it honestly just like doesn't really matter.
You just gotta touch the weight.
Like, yeah, there's also research showing that you can build equal muscle with once a week versus twice a week. The problem with once a week is as you get more advanced, you need to do more volume. And if you just put that all on one day, it becomes junk volume at a certain point, right? So you just be better off splitting it up. So training a muscle once a week is worse than twice a week. I think that's true.
Yeah, that's right. Your boy is science-based now. Let's see if our special guest who we ran into at the gym can match up.
All right, Alex, so we've been busting all these myths. So the next one we have is you must squat, bench, and deadlift to build muscle.
No, that's a myth.
You sure? What do you think, Jesse?
Do you squat, bench, and deadlift?
I deadlift and bench sometimes, but I prefer machines though.
He's right. Stop trolling the dude.
That's what it's obviously, that's a myth.
They do build muscle, but you could replace the squat with
Is Jeff wearing his skirt? If he's not now, he's more than likely worn it that day.
a hack squat, a Smith machine squat, even a leg press. You're still gonna build your quads and glutes.
I got a good myth. Alex, you make his natty.
Oh,
I don't judge you for it.
yeah, no.
Listen, man is huge now.
All right, Jesse. You can lose fat and build muscle at the same time.
I'm gonna say that this is the truth in certain circumstances, because when I first started lifting, when I was 15, I massively gained muscle like so quickly. A hyper responder to just touching weights. I was eating in a surplus for sure, but my body fat wasn't really going up, just the muscle and the body fat stayed the same. And over 3 years of doing that, I kind of got leaner and built muscle at the same time. So I think the first few years of lifting is where you can really do that. But then after that, like now.
All that information he is selling, you can find on the internet for free, which is true with most things, you know? Why do people pay for a degree? Let me ask you that question. Like, I get the point, but it's stupid. Because people don't get information for free. I could ask an AI to generate me a course on how to learn global economics, and I could follow that course, but probably won't. There is a certain thing behind something that when it costs for money, people tend to do it more, right? Like if I pay for my car and I really like my car, which I did, right? I'm paying for it. It's a great car. I want to take care of that car. But if I got a car for free and it's like kind of a junker and I'm like, I'm probably not going to take care of the car. And it's the same thing with education or courses or like workout programs. There's something about paying for it that gets you to do it. There's something about buying a book on my Kindle and reading it versus pirating it offline that I can't explain what that is psychologically, but I think it's sort of a fallacy to say they're selling something that you can get for free offline. So is everybody. So is everybody. I can find information about anything. I mean, most colleges have most of their online seminars for free, you know, and it's just finding that information. It's just literally, but is it though? Like, let's be honest. A $50 generic program for someone is equivalent to an education. They see it as a status of, okay, stamp, this guy has an education. He can teach me how to train effectively. I don't have to go searching the internet for a bad example because most people don't know where to search. You're paying, exactly, sacrifice equals investment. But you're paying for the avoidance of sacrifice by simply avoiding the time investment, if that makes sense. Yeah, what's up, Todd? Like if I pay for a program, it saves me 2 hours of making my own program. Or if I pay for a program and I'm a guy who has never worked out before or has just newly started to work out, it's saving me the investment of doing things wrong, possibly. Now that's to say that the guy is selling you a correct program, but ultimately you pay to reduce effort and sacrifice. Todd, what if I make the girlfriend I'm cheating on watch with my self-esteem go up? He'll say yes. And that's because it will.
It's a little harder.
If you're a new lifter, so in about like your first year or two, if you have a lot of body fat to lose, people who are detrained, so basically people who trained before, stopped training for a long time and came back, then you basically get newbie gains again.
Is that a half myth again?
I actually think it's true. Like if you look at the whole globe, like most people can.
Welcome to the speed round, because we're talking about cardio.
Just get on a treadmill here. For every one you get wrong, I'm gonna increase the speed by 1.
Okay.
Cardio kills your gains.
True.
Myth.
What? What if you do too much?
It will slow down your rate of gains, but like you'd have to do so much to kill your gains.
Okay.
The only reason to do cardio is to burn
That sounds like someone who's never done a hard leg day session before.
calories.
Why else would you do cardio? That's true.
Myth. You should do cardio for your health. It feels good. Endorphins. Your heart is a muscle.
Screw my heart.
Walking isn't a workout.
For me, it's not a workout, so I'm gonna say true.
Myth. Walking is a workout. It's a great form of exercise. It's very healthy. It can also help with like low back pain, improve your mental health. I consider it a workout, especially if it's a brisk walk. Depends on your fitness level too, Jesse.
This is not a brisk walk.
Running is bad for your knees.
My knees feel fine right now, so I'm gonna say myth.
You're right.
Let's go.
See, okay, where are you pulling this information from, Jeff? If you talk to, like, there's an odd correlation with veterans, running, and knee injuries. There's an odd correlation between cartilage being worn down in your knees and being an avid long distance marathon runner. You know, like you can read it in a paper or you could see it in real life. If it happens 100 times in real life in front of me, but a paper says something completely different, which am I more inclined to believe? I don't know.
If you sweat more, it means you're burning more calories.
True.
Myth. Sweating is just an adaptation to cool your body down. It doesn't correlate with the number of calories you burn.
It's hard to think when I'm running.
All right. Cardio is the only way to improve your heart health.
Myth.
That is a myth. Name 2 other ways, otherwise I'm speeding it up. 3, 2.
Holding your breath.
No.
Idiocy.
Lifting weights stunts your growth.
I think we know.
I hope the skin cancer is gone now, Todd. I hope it's just gone.
The answer to that one. I'm done with your game.
No, I just want to quickly say, like, just because a lot of people do think that weightlifting stunts your growth, but that actually is a myth. Yeah.
So I'm just short because my parents.
Hey, you're not allowed to complain about being short, by the way.
Because you're shorter than me?
Yeah! You're not in the club, bro. You're out. You don't.
No pain, no gain.
I walked to the dumpster to throw up after watching Wes and Jeff. Oh,
Jeff,
man. How accurate, bro.
What say about that?
If it's injurious pain, like in your joints, then I think you should just stop. So in that sense, I think it's a myth. I think that people say no pain, no gain to mean like, oh, it's gotta like really hurt. Training should be hard, but like if you're feeling pain, like actual pain, like your knees hurt, your shoulders hurt, that's actually a bad sign.
The next myth is that you need to rest 60 seconds between each set.
There's research that compares resting longer than 1 minute and shorter than 1 minute. What do you think saw better muscle growth?
I'm gonna say you got more muscle growth with less rest.
Are you trying to be bad on purpose again?
Cap, running hurts. My legs are absolutely cooked. Treadmill hurts more than the trails, but then again, there's a trillion other considerations to make there. I'm sure, but it doesn't help. I think it's just a high impact, repeated, consistent, just impact. It's a clear correlation. Like you're crazy. And here's the problem with Jeff. He bases everything off studies which scientific snitches talked about many times before, but are erroneous. It's just like you pick the worst fucking studies with terrible methods sections, and then you base all of your claims off of it, but because you're the guy, everyone listens to you. Everyone has to listen to Jeff. He's the smartest of the smart, right? It's so not true. I'm sure Todd can account to that as well. Absolutely not true.
Again?
No. Bro, just give me the answer, please. I don't know that.
It was actually resting longer than a minute. Caused more muscle growth. You can also save time by doing opposing supersets. You could pair your bench press work with like a lat pull down.
So that's a myth.
It's a myth.
Squats are bad for your knees.
Ooh! So I think squats are bad for your knees is a myth. If you're using weights that you can handle, squats should actually strengthen your knees. They don't just strengthen your muscles, they also strengthen your joints. Knees over toes is also
a myth.
It is a myth. It's totally safe.
Hormones and genetics.
Training legs raises testosterone. There's one way to find out.
And only one way.
We're gonna do a 300
There was a study.
squat, and I'm gonna let you know at the end of the set if I feel like my testosterone's higher, okay?
How's the test? Come on, Jesse. How's the test? racket. Does your testosterone feel higher right now or before you did that set?
I feel absolutely worse.
You must be the anomaly then, because training legs does actually boost your testosterone. Come on, Jesse. Spot reduction.
Jeff just takes mass articles and farts out an opinion. Yeah, he farts out an opinion, but the articles he reads to specifically formulate that opinion are erroneous. Like, it's crazy. And all these guys, Milo Wolf, we've talked about them on this channel. They have this belief that if it's on paper, it's legit. And it's like, dude, take a second, man. Just take a second to reflect in real world application. I just don't understand why people do this, and they just formulate their opinions entirely off reading a exercise science study, which is done on undergrads who are fucking 18 years old, who've trained, 2 weeks of their entire life, and suddenly now that's the law. It's crazy.
Reduction is a myth, or is it?
I don't think that you can burn fat in a specific spot.
Yeah. So the idea is if you do crunches, you'll burn more fat from your midsection. It just doesn't seem to be practically true.
Training abs will get you a six-pack. What'd you say about my abs, Jeff?
They're very nice. They're well developed.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Training your abs will be one of the factors
It won't.
into getting a six-pack. But if you have a layer of fat, you're not going to see them.
If they aren't particularly built, you can build them up through training just like you can any other muscle.
What exercises do you recommend?
One where you're pulling your upper torso down toward your legs, and one where you're pulling your legs up towards your upper body.
Jeff's bigger than me, so he's right. Come on, Todd.
One leg raise, one cable crunch.
So it's true.
Training abs will get you abs, but will you be able to see them? That depends on your diet. You can change the shape of your muscles.
I know the truth on that, and I know that that's a myth.
If you build the bicep up, it'll actually grow more in the middle than on the sides. And so it'll inherently create more of a peak just by making them bigger. I think what people mean is like, can you change this gap here? No, like that's your genetic structure. It's the same thing with your six pack. You have really nice symmetrical six pack, but like you didn't train that. That's a genetic thing, right? You can change the shape of a muscle. I think that's a myth.
Workout lifestyle. Strength training is only for powerlifters.
I think that's a myth.
I
Me
think.
too.
I think he says.
The longer you work out, the better.
I saw a study once where it said reading too many studies actually might not benefit you.
Like everything
Truth
I
to
guess
that.
is wrong nowadays. If you work out for 60 minutes, you can get a lot done. It's good. You work out for 20 minutes, you're getting double the amount of work. So maybe it's better. But then Jeff will probably say that that's wrong. So you got to think backwards. Yeah. Myth.
I think you're right.
Oh, thank God.
After you've done, I'm gonna say something around 6 to 8 sets for one muscle in one workout, like that's about all you're gonna get out of that workout from a hypertrophy standpoint.
How do you know that, Jeff? What study did you read? You just making that up? He's just making that up.
So, Jesse, if you miss one workout, that's gonna have a big negative impact on your gains.
You know what's funny is I had a dream last night because I knew we were shooting today that I missed a workout. And I tried.
How much D-ball is equal to 8 serostim? That's the kind of question we should be asking to motherfucking Jeff Nippard.
I had to get in the gym and a security guard told me I could not come in because I missed one. I can't come in?
Don't miss days, Jesse.
I think it's a myth.
I think you're right.
You should work out when you are sick or injured.
I think you should rest. A little bit of light cardio.
I think, well, actually, activity improves immune response. And specifically, I'm spacing on it. Hold on. Let me think. White blood cells, something or another. I'm totally forgetting it. I just made a video on this, man. I just made a video where we talked about elevated androgens in immune response, but yeah.
Cardio might actually help you recover faster, so I think that's cool, but myth.
You need to be sore in order to build muscle. I still don't know the answer to this one. I feel guilty if I'm not sore the next day.
I don't think you need to feel guilty, Jesse. I think it's a myth. As long as you're overload, you're exposing the muscle to progressively more tension over time, you will build muscle whether you are sore or not.
So it's a myth.
It's a myth.
It's been a long day of myth busting, and we're getting tired. So let's lay down for category 8, recovery.
You need 8 hours of sleep in order to build muscle.
I mean, I think that's a myth because if you get a little less than 8 hours of sleep, you can still absolutely build muscle. Sleep is definitely one of the best things you can do for overall recovery, though.
Nasal strips help you sleep better and increase your recovery.
I think they can improve your breathing, especially
He's
if you
saying
have
I
sleep
think a
apnea.
lot.
I doubt it's going to have enough of an impact to have like a profound impact
saying
on
I
your
think.
recovery or like muscle growth or anything like that. But it could be very individual.
What are your thoughts on mouth tape?
I mean, I think it's probably overhyped, like most trends end up being, but like I don't really have a strong opinion on it, and I don't think there's very much evidence on it, so I'm just going to defer to you on that one. What do you think, Jesse? That's so stupid, because you can just breathe out your nose. It's too late to start working out.
That is an absolute fat myth or lie. It is never too late to get started. Just know that in multiple...
Even they're like, damn, this video is boring. He's falling asleep. I'm fucking falling asleep watching this. I can't watch it anymore. Okay, what's the final myth?
Final myth. It's the most important one.
Jeff Smith.
That's supposed to say Jeff Smith.
Oh, who is Jeff Smith?
Yeah, guys, this is supposed to say Jeff Smith. It says Jeff Smith. What is the most important myth that we need to address?
Your training and your diet needs to be perfect for it to be effective, because that is a myth. Even if it's not 100% perfect,
No shit,
as long as
Jesus
you're consistent
Christ.
and you're doing the work.
Mind blown. Oh my god. All right, guys. That's this is like the worst video I think I've ever watched on this live ever. That's like a full truth. I've never honestly watched anything more boring than this with you guys. That was atrocious. Oh my god. Well, you guys, I'm gonna hit the hay. It's 9 o'clock here, and I gotta eat dinner with a gal, and she's gonna probably beat me up and swear at me in Korean. So please pray for me with the domestic abuse going on in the background, and I hope all is well in your woods. Please join the Discord. Yeah, we watch whatever we want here, Paul. Or oh my god, I almost called you Paul. Todd. Just next time, catch in. Good game. Good game. Yeah, we can watch Warhammer reactions. We'll watch it next time if you tune in. Tuesdays, Todd. Tuesdays. Later, dude. Later, everybody.